All right. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm good, James. We are back for another week. An exciting podcast tonight.
Hey, we're going to bring the hype because Clemson fans need some sunshine. We're bringing the sunshine tonight. We're going to put some smiles on some faces because we've got a super special guest, Mac and McLaughlin. We're going to say his last name. We'll skip the last name. We got Mac on here, and we're going to talk about
McLaughlin.
the NCAA regionals. He did great. Yeah, I told him I'm the guy that calls the names at graduation. I just messed that all up. But anyway, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to throw some tailgate talk into this stuff with baseball, and we're going to give away a koozie to a lucky viewer. So the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. You find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans is the official podcast for Clemson fans. And Bailey, where is our official place to eat?
Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around, with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at ReubensC.com. Reuben's is a great place to eat for all sports fans. And James, did you have Reuben's yesterday?
Oh, did the sun come up? Yes, I did.
I thought so.
We were in Tiger Town. We had our wings, and it was awesome. And hey, we can throw that in our questions with Mac. If he hadn't been to Reuben's, we're going to tell him how to get there, because that location in Powdersville is only about 20 minutes away from Tiger Town. So, but before we go any further, let's get Mac on here with us. We have the team manager for Clemson's extremely successful softball team. So obviously he's the envy of every guy on campus. He's a sports management major, a freshman from Seattle, Washington. So we're going coast to coast here, and he's in middle America or something right now, he told me. But want to welcome to the show Mr. Mac McLaughlin. Mac, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh man, if we were any better, we'd be you, which I stole that line. I admittedly stole that line from our last guest, that old brain. Yeah, Ricky Sapp.
Ricky Sapp.
Yeah, Ricky Sapp. So anyway, all right. So even though I butchered that name, we're going to get past that. And when I post about this show, I referred to you as the hype man for the softball team. And obviously you're the manager for the softball team, but you're doing such a good job. I mean, you're doing so well. I figured that had to be part of the job. Is that part of the job, to be the social media hype guy for the softball team, or just the manager enough?
I mean, I feel like I just kind of took on the role. I was like, I love, and the girls love, when the energy is up at McWhorter. Like, people are fired up. We just feed off that. And if I can help out with anything, helping out this team get a win, and is that by bringing energy or, just getting loudness, getting other people's heads from the other team. So yeah, I feel like it's not really part of the job, but I like taking on that role though.
Yeah, well, every team needs that person.
Yes.
Seattle's it's a long way away from Clemson, South Carolina. So how'd you end up in Clemson?
I knew I wanted to do something with sports, and I didn't want to go to the University of Washington. And I looked at Clemson online and fell in love with the campus, and I knew we were a great sports school, and I wanted to surround myself with great sports.
Hey, good answer.
That is correct. Even way out on the West Coast. So what year? I've already said you're a freshman, but what does tell us where you are in your college journey, I guess, and being a sports management major. What do you plan to do when you finish college?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I love coaching. I love seeing getting players better. But with the manager's position, I go to practice. I can watch Val do bullpen whenever I want. I can catch Val during bullpen and see different points of views. Or I could take it into more of a social media aspect of athletics, such as running someone's social media account for a pro sport.
Nice. So they pay people to, I guess they pay people to do that. They didn't do that back in the day.
I mean, I'm a sports management major too, James. I have a master's in sports management.
A master's degree
in
sports management.
So, Mac, based on your social media, you are likely the number one fan of Clemson softball. So, what's it like? Like, I mean, because Clemson's good, they're a national brand, and they go out to Oklahoma and with, one strike away basically from forcing an elimination game. And so, what's it like being in the dugout and with the team?
Oh, it's crazy. It's fun. It's exciting. It's emotional. I mean, we're like having fun. I mean, it's like the thing. There's no other sport like softball because, you strike out and everyone's high fiving them. Like, you get a great play. The crowd is into it. The players are into it. I mean, it's just, there's no words to explain how much fun I've had this past season.
Yeah. So what I see with softball is that everything is so right on top of you, meaning the bases are only X number of feet apart. The ball gets, the slap hitters, the bunts, it's just constant action. And the fans are right on top of you. Plus, Clemson's stadium is always packed, so that helps.
Yes.
Yeah, the girls softball, a lot of times the pitchers and third base people, they wear the masks. I know when my kids played in high school, because it's so, like you say, it's right there. You get a line drive or something, it can be
fast. Really,
it can be dangerous. But girls are really good at doing, like you mentioned, like somebody strikes out and they're still high-fiving each other. My daughter plays volleyball, and y'all been to volleyball. I know Bailey's been to plenty. They can, the other team can just spike the ball right down their throat, and what they do, they just circle up, pat each other on the butt, and give each other high fives and go on to the next play. Who knows what they're feeling at that time? Probably just like the rest of us, like, oh man. But they do a good job of keeping each other, because that's important. The most important play is the next play, right, Bailey?
That's correct.
All right. So out of all the moments, though, we talked about it's a big time program, big time athletic school. Is there something that stands out, or was there a top moment for you this season?
I mean, I have some funny moments if you want to hear those, or like there's funny moments off the field. Like, for example, when we were in Miami, everyone dressed up super nice. We were on a balcony, and it was a super nice dinner. And we were just eating, and this wind came out of nowhere, and all the girls' hair is in their face, is in their food, and like napkins are flying around. People are like on the table, like eating like this. So like that, and that was like our first trip.
I hate it when that happens.
I know, it's me and Bailey. The winds mess our hair all up.
So looking back at that was probably my most fun, favorite moment so far this season. But seeing Val throw a perfect game was crazy, because that's so hard to do. And I mean, she just goes out there every game just playing her best, and I mean, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, also taking a charter plane to South Bend for the ACC was like, whoa, because I feel like, not many people get to experience that. And I was like we don't have to go through TSA. I was like, what? Like, this
wheels up, baby, wheels up.
Yeah. We're taking the bus to the plane, and I look at Caroline and Val, and I'm like, there's not even a flight attendant, and they're like, yeah, because we're chartered. I was like, what?
Yeah, you're like Tony Stark. I've never done that. Bailey, have you ever chartered a plane?
I have not.
I have not. So, all right, you got us on that one, Mac. Next time, maybe you can hook us up and get us on a.
Matter of fact, I'm in zone 6 of Southwest flights when I go somewhere.
Yeah, the ones I pay for, I'm in the back.
Yeah, right.
For sure. But hey, we're gonna skip a question. Speaking of Val, I mean, this girl has gotten every accolade pretty much that, if there's one that she has not gotten this year, I don't know what it is. This is just one I grabbed real quick. USA Softball Player of the Year. And from what you know about her, obviously, what's she like as a person? Obviously she's a great player. What's she like as a person?
Super down to earth, super respectful of others. I mean, she makes really good banana bread for the team. People are constantly giving her bananas. The only negative aspect is she doesn't like sweets. And I love ice cream, and I was like, how do you not like ice cream? And she's like, I don't like sweets. I'm like, you make banana bread? And she's like, no, I don't eat it though. So she makes all these great desserts, doesn't eat it, But no, she's super humble person and like a fun person to be around for sure.
Awesome. I figured a good personality normally goes along with a great player because it takes a lot of humility to humble yourself and get better and all that kind of stuff. And one of my best friends, Perry, he don't like sweets, so I don't understand. I'm with you. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably why he's skinny.
He's very trim.
Yeah,
it definitely helps. I'm sure. But I mean, they don't call them sweets for nothing.
Right.
That's what they're there for. But anyway, interesting to hear about the banana bread. That's some inside tidbit you're only going to get here on the Fun Fans podcast.
That's it.
All right, B, where are we at? I messed us up on our order here.
So, Mac, did you go to any football games or any basketball, anything like that, or you just?
I went to almost every single basketball game, and I would always sit in the front row. Basketball games are super fun at Clemson, I have to admit. Like getting that T-shirt, you get there a couple hours before. I went to that Duke game when we rushed the court. I was like, whoa, like this is ACC basketball. Like growing up, going to Pac-12 basketball it's fun. Like you get to see UCLA, USC and stuff, but Duke versus Clemson and Clemson winning, I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, you get your Clemson Grit T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a couple of those laying around my house.
So you weren't there for football. You're a freshman. You started in December.
Yes.
Okay, so this coming year though, you plan on going to some football games?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Does the softball team they do fall ball? I guess in the fall.
Loose ball, and we'll get there a couple weeks before school starts. And we'll start some practice.
But you guys will have, when there's a home football game on Saturday, y'all will be able to attend the games, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Coach Redmond gets it off for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. I think Chris, or I know we've tailgated with some baseball players, and they said that's kind of odd. A lot of schools that don't have big time football, they might be playing or practicing on a Saturday, but
wow.
Good deal,
Look,
man.
I'm telling you, man, the fall that I was a manager on the baseball team at Clemson, that was the only day we got off in that fall semester were the home football games.
Yeah.
And it was a full-time job.
Well, Mac, you've heard the stories and you've seen the videos, and obviously you've seen the stadium. You just wait till this fall, young man. It's going to be an experience for you, and look forward to you being able to do that. That's going to be awesome. A sports fan like yourself that's already plugged in to Clemson athletics. I think you're going to love it. So awesome. Speaking of coming to Clemson, and I'm going to have to change this question a little bit because, like I say, this is your first year as a student. Do you plan on staying in Clemson in the summer or you go back to Seattle?
So I'm in Wyoming right now, driving back. I just went to the World Series last weekend. I went to the World Series Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I plan on staying in Seattle for the rest of the summer. But next summer, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, speaking from experience, I highly recommend one summer at Clemson at least. What do you think, Bay?
I would say for sure, yes.
Yeah. Summers at Clemson right there at the lake, and everything else is pretty good. So what, and your other plans for the future? We talked about that a little bit, but is there anything else you want to share with the fans out there about Mac?
I mean, if you don't already, I guess follow my TikTok, MacDog206. I mean, I make hype videos and videos with the softball team and hopefully other sports. But we just really have fun. I mean, I hit 1,000 followers today, and I'm like super grateful for that. Didn't realize making a funny video saying "Get up, it's game day" would take it that far, but it's super awesome.
Yeah, it was great. If you're not following this young man, find him, and we'll post the links and stuff on when we post the show. But that's where I think that video was the first one I saw when you popped up out of the bed or whatever, and yeah, that was great. And all of a sudden you're on the field, and I can't remember, but yeah, it was good stuff. And I know the fans, the players appreciate that, but the fans do as well, and hopefully the athletic department does, especially if you're doing that out of the additional job of being a manager for the softball team. They need to give you at least another title. Put that on your resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
The more on the resume, the better. And anytime reach out to some local administrators, high school administrators, you just let us know now that we're in touch, and we'll look forward to seeing you grow through your college years. And continue to be a large part of the Clemson athletic program. We appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good one, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
That's right.
There's a very nice young man there.
That's right.
Bright future. He's
high energy.
Yeah, he was pretty low key there compared to some of the other stuff I've seen on his social media, I believe. But anyway, what we don't want to forget about coming up, speaking of Clemson in the summer, August 4th, 5th, and 6th, the Orange and White Weekend sponsored by Wayne Buckingham. Tim Bourret has said that this will be a historic event because this will be the first time these former Tigers have been in one place at the same time. We're talking Horace Grant, Dale Davis, Levon Kirkland, Michael Dean Perry, Coach Danny Ford, Perry Tuttle. The list just goes on and on and on. We'll post this link on the Fanboys website, like with all the other links. So make sure you can find thefanboys.com. It's not that hard to find thefanboys.com, but we'll put that link up there as well and get all the information about that gala for as cheap as $50. You can rub elbows with those guys, or you can learn how to be a sponsor.
Or us.
That's right. You get to hang out with us. One more quick reminder. We're on TV, by the way.
Right.
Download the Boxcast app, and you can stream us, WSBN TV, channel 24.
Yeah, and I would just tell people that if in some situations the WSBN, when you get the Boxcast, just search WSBN and boom, there it is.
Yeah, it'll be right there.
It took me a minute to figure out exactly what to search, because if you search Fun Fans, it doesn't come up, but if you search WSBN, it does.
That's right. Very good point. And one more thing, you've seen this scrolling across the bottom, but I finally got my True Victory t-shirt in Clemson colors. This is a veteran-owned company here with a very comfortable t-shirt, all kind of variety of attire, mostly t-shirts and like workout wear and that kind of stuff, various colors and stuff. You get it in your school colors, but of course I got Clemson colors. So just check out truevictory.com and you can use coupon code TheFanboys and get 15% off for that one. All right. So there was a game Saturday, and we're not going to talk about the game just yet. What do we talk about here on the Fun Fan Show? We talk about the tailgating. And it's hard for me to do anything but compare the football tailgating to the baseball tailgating. So what we have coming up for you is the 5 differences. It's a comparison. It's a contrast. Then we'll do a little bit of comparison of tailgating for baseball versus tailgating for football. Not in any
work.
Yeah, like English class. Not in any particular order. First difference I noticed, Porta Johns. At a football game, you're sitting at the tailgate, you look left, there's a couple of Porta Johns. You look right, there's a set of 4 Porta Johns. You look across the way, there's more Porta Johns. Guess what? At baseball, non-existent.
Well, are you going to go through these and then I'm going to give you my take on it?
Yeah, give us your 2 cents worth on. There may have been Porta Johns somewhere, but I didn't see them anywhere.
Well, James, at a football game, there are 85,000 seats. Last Saturday night, which was last night, there were 6,200 people there.
That's right.
Okay.
They should have had at least one.
The public restrooms can handle that. They can't build the stadium and add additional seating like they have without enough restrooms for the total capacity.
Well, not saying it's a negative thing, but that's the difference. Don't be looking for no Porta John at a baseball tailgate. All right, another difference. The parking's free. That was great. Versus the football parking, which is
house payment or 2.
Not free. All right. The parking is also closer. Now, obviously, there's close parking to Death Valley for football, but relative to free, the parking is much, much closer based on the cost of the football game. So we were right there at Derby yesterday and just had to walk right into Doug Kingsmore. So that was pretty nice.
Well, if you do free parking for football, you're going to need you one of those True Victory workout shirts because this is going to be a workout.
Ain't that true? They call it Uber.
Or some workout clothing. That's the whole thing. You have to change when you get there.
And some powders. All right. The baseball tailgating is a little more low key. I don't know if that was, maybe it's like you said, it's less of a crowd. I heard some music. We have music, but there's always more music at football. You just can't help but hear the tailgates are pumping and blah, blah, blah. But the baseball, there was music somewhere close by, and that was pretty much it. And we were just chilling, and most people were walking by, and that was all right. But it was pretty cool, but much more low key. And I'm gonna say this is a negative, I guess, in some kind of ways. Obviously, there's no halftime, so there's no halftime tailgate in baseball. Right. That's the struggle. The struggle was real at that point. All right,
I bet you. I know one thing that was similar.
What's that?
You can skip down to number 11. I'm pretty sure you took something to tailgate.
Oh, yeah. One thing that was similar, at least at my tailgate, the oatmeal cream pies.
I've never been to a football game or anywhere that you did not have the big pack of oatmeal cream pies.
Well, I mean, you don't have to look through my pantry. I don't have these things at home. I only buy them when I'm going to tailgate.
They're just for special occasions.
Yeah. But when we're tailgating, we're taking the oatmeal cream pies, and I'm not going to blame any person. But one of my daughters made me open the oatmeal cream pies because she wasn't going to the tailgate. And I said, you're going to jinx the game by opening this oatmeal cream pie before the tailgate. And
she did.
It took 14 innings, but I don't know. We're going to assume that was not her fault, that we had to open the tailgate. Now, another similarity, clogged phone network. Once everybody got pretty much in, even though it was only 6,200 people, it wasn't as bad as football. There was some, you could send a text message, but good luck sending a picture or a video or getting about anything else to load.
Right.
And then a conclusion through my rigorous research and study, comparison and contrasting. What if football players had something that was the equivalent of walk-up music? Picture this. Quarterback hits a pass across the middle for a first down, and depending on the player, the wide receiver that catches the ball, a certain song gets played over the PA. Huh? It's not walk-up music.
But you also have a guy who passed it to him.
Okay, well, he can't
you
play
also have 5 linemen that block for the quarterback.
Baseball's a team sport too.
I know, but when it's your at-bat, it's your at-bat.
So they couldn't. So a defensive end.
Or how about when the kicker goes out for a field goal? They play his walk-up music.
That would be good. Yeah, kickers need punters. Punters can need some walk-up music. Anyway, just something to think about there. Athletic departments of the world. I think the football players could have some of their walk-up music of their own. But you know what? Who does not need walk-up music?
J-Do.
J-Do. MC, entertainer, entrepreneur, pep rallies, corporate events, game shows, fundraisers, galas, etc. Just put that man on the mic and let him liven up the party. Not only is J-Do a friend of mine, I've seen him work, and you and your organization will not be disappointed anytime you add J-Do to your function. You can find him at itsjdo.com and on all forms of social media at itsjdo. Now, the not so fun part, maybe. The baseball game. The Tigers.
They got beat.
It happens. All right, so here's the take on the game.
Did the sun come up today?
The sun came up today for sure.
And it's going to come up tomorrow too.
So I was at the Friday and Saturday games, and just like everybody said, Clemson played really well, right? You saw the games. They played well. Tennessee is a good team. They played really well. You tell me if I'm wrong. You know more about baseball than I do. When the pitcher is, I think it was 5 or 6 innings, he's up to in the 70s or so on his pitch count, and he's still bringing heat at about 97 miles an hour. That's pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the reliever comes in, and his fastball is in the upper 90s. I mean, he's hitting 99.
Well, the second pitcher for Tennessee was a starter last year, and it is one of the best pitchers probably in the country. And I told my son, you need to remember his name. He said, why? I said, because he'll pitch in the big leagues.
Gotcha.
He had a nasty slider, up in the mid to upper 90s at times. And he threw like 100 pitches in relief. So, I mean, Tennessee was ranked number 1 all of last year. They've got a ton of guys back. And look, give them credit.
Right.
The guy hit one out of the stadium.
Yeah, they rocked
out of the stadium.
They rocked a couple of them, and it just came at the worst times. And then when for Clemson to get the bases loaded in the bottom of the 10th with no outs.
Yeah, you got to score a run right there. But
that was a little disappointing not to get a run across there. But
yeah, because it would have won the game.
yeah. So,
but then I mean, it was. I will say this: you were at the game. I was sitting here watching all 14 innings. Twitter was blowing up. Kurt Herbstreit said it's the best college baseball game he's ever seen. You know, Carolina fans were chiming in saying this game is ridiculous. It's so good. And you're playing a team, Tennessee, that played in the SEC. And we all know how good that league was.
Right.
And they were ranked number 1 last year, all of last year. So it's not Cupcake City.
Oh, it was not. It was definitely a good game.
Baseball's a strange sport, you know.
And that's what worried. I was worried during the ACC tournament. You can't win. It's statistically almost impossible to win 20-something games in a row. And, you know, it was kind of almost bound to happen, and it seemed to happen at the worst moment. But like you said, being at the game, and I'm not to take away anything from the effort of the players. Obviously, you know, today they went out there and they gave it their best shot just like they would any other time. But it was exhausting, the heat. And I don't know, of all the talking heads I've heard, it was very, very warm at the beginning of the Tennessee game. The sun went down. It didn't get much cooler. The humidity was still a factor. And going 14 innings of that, just sitting in the stands wasn't the most fun thing in the world. I can only imagine the players. And then they had a 13-hour turnaround from the end of one game to first pitch of the second. And it honestly, I knew it was going to be tough for Clemson, the players. That's just a difficult turnaround for anybody.
Nature. Just like basketball, we already talked about this. They were within 1 strike twice.
Hey, we won the game. If you take away the if there was no such thing as review, we won. We would have advanced and been playing.
He was out. I mean, all the reviews that were overturned were done correctly.
Yes.
And here, and I don't, you know me, I'm not talking. This is in no way negative with the coaching staff. It's hard. It's hard to sit there and go, okay, do I leave Grice in? He's pitched 8 2/3.
Right.
Or do I bring somebody else in? You know, the baseball strategy book says bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, when Grice went out, I was like, you know, but that's totally, it could have worked out.
Hindsight, right.
Yeah.
That's
mean, the kid that hit the home run, they were talking about on television. He did that in the Little League World Series when he was 12. He had a walk-off game winner. That's pretty impressive.
He was born to boogie.
And he'd already hit one.
Well, yeah, honestly, I just assumed they'd bring a closer in the 9th inning. And when they don't
have a closer.
Well, you know, that's the standard baseball.
Closer by committee at Clemson.
Closer by committee, but when they sent him back out there for the 9th inning, I thought, well, maybe they're going to let him try to get a complete game. And the way he was pitching the 9th inning, but like you say, hindsight, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it works sometimes it doesn't. I mean, you're not going to win. How many games did they win in a row? 18 or however many?
Ended up, I mean, just now that the season's over, if you look at the season as a whole,
it was awesome.
It was awesome, especially compared to the past season or two. I mean, how far back do you have to go since we've hosted a regional?
16, I think.
How far back do you have to go since we've won the ACC? Not last year. or the year before. So it was definitely his first year head coach. It was definitely a turnaround.
Let's talk about, did you see, it might have been hard to see at the game. Did you see Canarella get tossed out of the game?
I did not. I'm going to tell you, this is another thing from a fan standpoint. Football does a much better job than baseball. It's just different. So I'm not knocking it. But if something happens, if there's a play, if they do more over the PA, now they might not talk about, well, the referees, they do. The referees they put their little microphone on and they'll say, number 15 with unsportsmanlike, and he's they're going to say whatever. Baseball stuff just happens, and you're texting people, and people around you are texting their friends or looking on Twitter and trying to figure out we were clueless.
So when our boy Nick Clayton, he rolled that guy rolled into a double play, and everybody's all fired up. It was a great play. There were some great plays in that game on both sides.
Without it, yes.
And Canarella's coming in from center field, and he starts wolfing at the guy that's from Tennessee that had slid into second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then the guy from Tennessee said something back to him, and Canarella turned back and said something back to him. And the next thing you know, Canarella's going over to our Clemson team, and he's still talking to the guy from Tennessee. And the next thing you know, they're thrown out.
Yeah.
Well, he had to sit out today's game.
Correct.
He's a freshman of the year in the ACC, batting 400 and something.
Yeah.
So that's like, not only do you have the game won 2 or 3 times, then your best hitter and leadoff man is not there.
Yeah, that hurt. I mean, who knows what would happen if he was in the game. But I did see this morning and saw the video and saw a description, and obviously most people are saying it's bogus, but if it's a rule, it's a rule. Maybe we didn't hear what he said. I don't know if something about I have no idea, but tell me if I'm wrong about this. What was said was the umpires had warned both teams.
All right.
Is that right?
Then you don't say anything.
Then you don't say right, because the next thing, even as a team, if there's a team warning, any individual is going. So yeah, I mean the umpires followed the rule, and he just did something he shouldn't have done.
So the announcers were hammering the officials.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm not. Look, every sport's different. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick story. We had a baseball player this year that grounded out, and as he crossed first base, he yelled a profanity that no one heard. I watched the video with the sound turned up. I'm at the game. No one heard it except the umpire. And in the pregame meeting, they go, Coach, profanity is automatic.
Right. It's automatic.
All right. Kids, if you use profanity, it's automatic. Well, he said one word because he was frustrated with himself.
Right.
He's gone. He gets 3-game suspension.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. That's what's in the book. It's by the book.
Right.
So we didn't have any more profanity all year, I can tell you that. But in another sport like basketball, let's just use that as an example.
Yeah.
What would happen if I screamed that profanity on the court? I would receive a technical foul.
Right.
And I still get to play.
Right. There's no technicals in baseball.
Right. So
there's no 15-yard penalty in baseball.
If you've ever been in a pregame meeting, basketball, baseball, whatever, they say the same thing. Make sure your players are properly equipped, legally wearing their uniform. Make sure they don't use profanity. Make sure they don't do this. And it's the same thing every game. And all the coaches go, okay, yeah, thanks. Good luck. Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the warning.
That's it.
They played Tennessee. Tennessee runs their mouth more than anybody. Last year, those rules are in place for Tennessee.
Well, I was going to say, I also heard that. Of course, don't have a site to source or anything, but I heard that is a new rule and is in place because of Tennessee. And the other thing that made Clemson fans upset is you're assuming if people are, from the video, of course, it's not the audio, but the players are mouthing at each other. But our guy's the one that got booted. it's like you said, it was the one the umpire heard, or maybe he didn't let it. They both said something,
or one guy didn't let it go
and didn't let it go. Yeah. So who knows? Or the thing, some people, whether it's a rule or not, they're going to let some chirping go, but then maybe somebody threw in a profane word, and they're not going to let that. I don't know, but so he got, and he had to sit out today, and that didn't help.
No.
And hopefully everybody learned a lesson.
Well, let's hope so. All right,
For
so
sure.
I'm going to have my first of all, the direction of the program is in great shape.
Yes.
I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth. We need more backup position players, okay? Because we had a guy DHing today. They actually got a hit last night, or hit last night in the game that was the starting pitcher today and had never batted in a game.
Right.
All right, so we don't have enough depth in the dugout. All right, so we got to get some guys in, and they will. We also need, I think, I won't say we need a closer type person, somebody that everybody's scared of when they come in the game, and they just close it down. And they're going to develop that. I mean, even Nick said a couple weeks ago they changed his arm angle a little bit, and Nick's he's 8-0.
Yeah.
And he came in a tough spot last night and got out of it. So it definitely headed in the right direction. I love watching them play. They get after it. They were more like a volleyball team or a softball team. Like they didn't, even when they got down, it was like, okay, we got this.
Right.
So you need those guys on your team for sure. Or
they look good.
Matt can be the manager.
Yes, right.
But
maybe
can I say one more thing about baseball, college baseball?
Yeah. Well, we're not done.
All right. So now I wrote all this down because you said, we have a short discussion on baseball across the country.
Yeah.
There are several seeds that have been beaten.
I got my website ready.
Let me go over this real quick.
Let's hear it.
There's no way I would be a pitcher because either you got to do something with the baseball or the bats. Because in 32 games on Friday, 17 teams scored 10 or more runs out of 32 games.
Right. That's typical college, right?
Yeah, but that's not baseball.
Got you.
All right.
I'm with you.
30 games on Saturday, 14 teams scored more than 10 runs, and 2 of them lost.
Yeah.
Wake Forest scored 21 runs. Arkansas got beat today 20-5. Arkansas is the number 3 team in the country.
How'd they get a safety?
They didn't score a safety. My point is,
I'm with you.
Okay, everybody likes offense, but man, you shouldn't just because you put the barrel of the bat on the ball, it shouldn't go 400 feet.
Is that the metal bat portion, or?
Well, they're not metal, James.
Aluminum, you
they're
know what
composite.
I mean. Whatever.
Yes.
They're not wooden, right?
They're not wooden.
Not wooden.
They're supposed to be, I guess, more wooden like, but they're not.
Are you getting is your solution? So you're saying this is a problem, or is it not a problem? It's just a thing.
It's a thing. There's no way I'd be a pitcher. You can't. Even the really good stuff is getting hit. If you make one mistake, they might hit 450 feet.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That's why if you're not up by 5 or more runs,
no lead is safe.
No lead is safe. It's like basketball nowadays. If you're not up by 30 with the 3-point line, your lead is not safe. But speaking of just the games in general, there were some other number 1 seeds that were eliminated. Clemson was not the only one that happened to. Give me another one. Auburn. Yeah, the one we were paired up with.
Probably Stanford.
Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And then of interest, the Gamecocks were leading the Campbell Camels when I started this by about, speaking of runs, I think they were up by 5. Are you watching?
And a lot of people picked Campbell to win that regional.
Apparently they're doing pretty good.
Well, Campbell's got a good baseball program, but Carolina's playing well right now.
And so I don't know what the update is, but Carolina was up 5 or more runs. Apparently they're doing pretty good. Well, Campbell's got a good baseball program, but Carolina's playing well right now. And so I don't know. I don't know what the update is, but Carolina was up 5 or more runs. Apparently they're doing pretty good. And so I don't know what the update is, but Carolina was up
Hold up, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and then Coastal and Duke were in a 1-run game. Duke was winning by a run, I believe, against Coastal. So while Bailey's looking up those scores, I just want to point out there were 3 regionals hosted in the state of South Carolina, and I'm pretty proud of the Palmetto State for that. And we do appreciate everyone's tax dollars when
South
they came and
Carolina's
visit.
up 15-7 in the bottom of the 7th.
Okay, so that's
that leads safe.
Speaking of a lot of runs.
Good night, Irene.
What about
Miami's down 10-6 in the top of the 8th. They're the number 9 national seed. Florida has to win this game to Florida got beat. And then Oregon State and LSU are tied in the bottom of the 7th. I might turn that on when I get off of this.
What about Coastal and Duke real quick?
They are Coastal 8, Duke 6, bottom of 8th inning.
All right, well, Coastal have turned on.
Kentucky scored 16 runs today through 7 innings. I'm sorry, awesome. 6 innings. Wake Forest 12, Sam Houston 10, Coastal 13 earlier, Kentucky 10 earlier, Campbell 11 earlier. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Everybody does like offense, but like you say, that's it's
a slow pitch softball game.
Yep. All right, but we're not going to end as Clemson fans. We're not going to end on a negative note. So we're going to point out something positive. According to CBS, in other competition news this week, Florida teen Dev Shaw wins the 95th Scripps National Spelling Bee. 14-year-old from Largo, Florida. He won it with Pasamphile.
I can't see that.
Samaphile. Can you see it?
No, I cannot. I have a split screen and I can't even begin to see that word, and it doesn't matter. I've never heard it anyway.
Psammophile. Samaphile. Hashtag spelling bee, baby. That's our story. We're still congratulations to that young man. And down there in Florida winning the spelling bee. So
I won the Clover Middle School spelling bee in 6th grade.
Congratulations. There we go. All right. Now, speaking of people winning stuff, it's also time for our weekly giveaway. Thanks partly to our friends at
Diamond Edge Products. These guys have mastered a diamond laser engraving process, and they can put almost any design on items such as license plates, koozies, yard signs, tumblers, water bottles, and more. For a high-quality, forever-lasting, custom-engraved product, check out Diamond Edge Products at diamondedgeproducts.com or email Jaylin, that's Jaylin, at diamondedgeproducts.com. And Diamond Edge Products is now, as announced last week, an officially licensed partner with Clemson University. So
That's right.
You can get all your official Clemson swag from Diamond Edge Products like this.
That's right. And this.
That's right.
All
so
right,
it's time for our giveaway.
Time for the giveaway.
Drum roll, please.
Wait, let me get to my drum roll. Oh, wait a minute, wrong one. This week's winner of Fun Fans Koozie is Kim Clayton.
Kim Clayton, congratulations and thank you for your support. What was that?
I tried to do the applause and ended up with the helicopters. It's extra security. There we go. Double applause. I think that's Nick's mom. I think since we've had Nick on here.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, she's been somewhat of a supporter and follower, and we do appreciate her support and her following. So how can you win? If you share any of our shows, your name will be entered in a drawing. Share it on any social media platform. Don't forget to reach out to us on how you can participate in Wayne Buckingham's Orange and White fundraiser weekend. You rub some elbows with some big-time Clemson names. We appreciate you being with us today for our updates and interview with Mac. We're here pulling for the Tigers no matter what. It's summertime, and it's hopefully everybody gets a good break. And we did a little bit of English school type breakdown, and of course that part of pointing out the spelling bee. But we'll be back next week, once again, Sunday, 8 o'clock at our normal time. So thanks again for checking us out. All links, once again, mentioned on our show will be found at thefanboys.com. We'll post the link directly to our website on the Fanboys website so you can get to our links. We're going to continue to bring you great stories and fun fans, plenty of great guests. So on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, Jay Thrilla Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Another good show, James. We out of here. Go Tigers.
We out, and go Tigers. Thanks for listening.